Episode 34, Nerdy News and Stuff.
Welcome to the Visionary Variety Podcast, where we cover all kinds of cool stuff like photo, video, film, books, and technology. So switch on your brain and enjoy the show. Welcome back to the Visionary Variety Podcast. We're so happy to have you listening once again. This week we have with us a returning special guest, but really she was a regular guest, Angela Brock.
I'm back.
Hey, Johnny.
Everybody run.
Yes, we're so glad to have you back on the podcast.
Yeah, it's nice being back.
And of course we have with us, as always, Nate Gunn.
Hey, me.
Yep, he's there, as always, just in the corner. Sometimes in a fetal position, but, you know, he's doing better tonight. All right, well, in this week's episode, we're going to be talking about all kinds of entertainment-related and a little bit of technology-related updates that we have come across in the news. A lot of this stuff happened within a week or two from, well, at least from when we're recording this episode, which is really exciting. There's just so much happening right now on Netflix, movies coming up, trailers. We got Captain Marvel trailer this week, which is awesome. But before we get into all that fun stuff, how has this week been for you guys?
My past weekend was pretty good. I ended up going to Cincinnati Comic Expo, which, for those of you who do not know where Cincinnati is, it's in Ohio. I didn't know if you Texans knew where that was.
Hey.
So that's
so nice.
Sorry.
Yeah, Texas is so big, we don't need to learn about other geographies.
So I've heard. So, that's why I clarified. Anyways, it was good. It was a nice kind of medium-sized convention. So it had plenty of cosplayers to take pictures with, and lots of vendors, lots of artists. Had a nice little celebrity turnout, although I didn't go and get any autographs or photos. I mainly went to go cosplay. I went with my sister, and I cosplayed as Catwoman, and she was a female Joker. So, yeah,
cool.
Nice little fun twist.
Fun. Did you see any awesome cosplays that blew your mind or any favorites?
I think my absolute favorite, and it's not like it's a completely amazing cosplay, but it was just because the person looks so much like them. I saw a 10th Doctor cosplayer towards the end of the day, and he looked dead up like David Tennant. And I'll admit, I fangirled a little bit inside when I saw him. So I was like, I need a picture with you. And then he wanted a picture with me. I'm like, oh my gosh, the cool cosplayer wants a picture with me. That's nice. So,
nice.
Yeah, that was...
And what about any art? Did you spend any time in the art alley?
I didn't buy anything. I mainly went to go say hi to people I knew, who I haven't seen in a while. So I ran into a number of friends there and got to talk with them for a while. So that was very nice and much needed.
Looked like it was a lot of fun because I think I saw you pose with Tommy Wiseau kind of character.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. That was so funny.
That was the best.
I knew that.
With the football?
Yeah, he's like an inside joke with like all of us here. So when I saw a cosplayer him, I'm like, okay, I got to get a picture with him just so I can send this to Nate and Daniel later.
Yeah, that made me smile. I love the funny cosplays. You see like cosplay memes. Like I saw I'm not saying it's aliens, but it's aliens guy. Like there was a guy cosplaying as him as a meme.
That's hilarious.
He had a plastic plate of clear plastic with a text on it for the meme floating above his head. It was suspended by his shoulders. And he had another one on the bottom that said, but it's aliens. He even had the History Channel logo. Yeah, it was like he was a meme. And his hair was crazy. He had the big old jacket, his hair, and it was over tanned. It was perfect. I love that stuff.
I really admire the amount of detail he put into that. And I'm like, gosh, I wish I could see
it was
that
deep.
now.
I just did a Halo photo shoot on Sunday night. And ever since researching Master Chief, I have really been hoping to see a Master Chef cosplay mashup.
Oh my God. I feel like I've seen that somewhere online.
There's gotta been.
If not in person.
Like Master Chief with like a spatula and an apron.
That would be,
so funny.
That'd be hilarious.
Some spice.
I still feel like that exists, but I don't know for sure.
Like a, what do they call it? A shoulder strap with spices on it. That would be so funny.
Oh my gosh. Oh man.
Turkey baster.
Yeah. There was a pretty cool Batman. I think it's the Christian Bale Batman that you took pictures with too.
There's this cool Batman cosplayer that always seems to go to the conventions in my local area. I ran into him a couple times before. And I got a picture with him this time, and I added on to my Catwoman costume where I have a money bag, which I carry all my paraphernalia with me.
Nice.
So he wanted to do a picture where it looks like he's like taking my loot away from me.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah,
that was great.
And then I ended up searching the hashtag for the convention on Instagram, and I saw he uploaded the picture on there, but he did like a photo edit. It's kind of like a basic version of what you do, Daniel. Okay, I'm not trying to make it sound like he's
background swap.
Yes, yeah, he
did a good job.
Yeah, he did a really nice job. I think it helped that I think the
matched.
convention lighting like perfectly matched the background he chose.
It did. Yeah, when I first looked at it, honestly, I didn't know it was a fake background.
Yeah,
and then until you mentioned it was an edit, I was like, edit? Oh, that's put in there.
Yeah,
the editor was surprised. I'm sure.
I know.
Yeah.
And I don't think I said, but he swapped out the backgrounds to make it look like we were in a bank vault. So that was pretty cool. Nice. And that was a nice surprise. I did not expect that. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is totally awesome. This is like the best picture of me I have so far now in my costume.
We should share that on our Facebook page.
Okay, yeah, sure. Most definitely. We can put like a little link to his Instagram thing. Mm-hmm. Copyright and all
so
that.
Our listeners can see it. Yeah. gotta make the photographers happy.
Exactly.
You know?
Shameless plug.
We're all about that copyright. Mm-hmm. we've had an episode about copyright, so we can't, we can't get away with it.
Exactly.
No. The cat's out of the bag.
We can't be hypocrites here. We have to link to the sources.
Yeah.
Just saying to everybody out there, we're going to do it. We're good people.
Cat's out of the bag, guys. Daniel got somebody's YouTube video pulled off. So
I did.
He's
did we not talk about this yet? I forgot if I mentioned this in the podcast.
I haven't gone too long, so I don't know if you all did or not.
I think we may have mentioned something about it, but I think there's more content that has happened since we talked about it.
Yeah, not a lot. It's pretty straightforward. Basically, someone snagged a photo off of a Instagram account of a cosplay photo I did. So I did it of two brothers dressing up as Fortnite cosplay characters. And this person that has a YouTube channel, I think his name is Apollo on YouTube. He went he was just browsing, I'm sure, looking for Fortnite cosplay. He found this picture on my client's Instagram, saved it, and then put it in a YouTube video along with about, 1 or 200 other cosplayers for Fortnite. And, it was just a really basic slideshow. He didn't put any effort. There was no transitions, nothing, just some electronic music and picture by picture. And it got 2 million views.
Wow.
And it was what did they call it? Commercialized, Nate? What's the right wording for that?
I mean monetized.
Monetized, ad plastered.
It was definitely monetized because it had ads. And honestly, if you get 2 million views, someone's going to be making money off of that.
Yeah.
They're an idiot if they're not. And I'm sure this guy isn't a complete idiot. But he stole the photo and did not give me credit, did not ask for permission, didn't tag the cosplayer, nothing. He just grabbed 100 to 200 photos of really great photos. I mean, a lot of them were even better than mine out there on the web. Snatched them, put them in a video, and made money off of it.
That's awesome.
Not cool. So I complained. There's a feature on YouTube where you can, there's a lot of different ways to word it. I forgot what it's called, but it's like a copyright notice or reporting, flagging, something like that. So I did that. And of course, I wrote that it was my photo being used in the video without my permission, and that it was copywritten. And it took about 3 or 4 days, and the video got pulled offline.
Yeah.
Wow. Just gotta rely on good Samaritans to point it out for you if they come across anything.
Yeah. And so he was watching random videos and said, "That's my photo in this video." And then the mom's called me. It's like, "Hey, did you give this photo to this guy?" And I said, "Nope." And she's like, "All right, we're gonna take it down."
Nice.
Yeah. So that was exciting.
Yeah.
I'm glad I got to ruin a little bit of that guy's day by having his video pulled offline.
Check.
And I did write him. I gave him about 3 or 4 days, and I wrote him. I commented on the video, and I said, "Hey, I noticed my photo is, used at like 4.5 minutes. I would like accreditation or a split of the profit that you're making off this video." That's not crazy to ask for that. That's how professional world works. And he didn't respond for about 4 or 5 days. And I had a bunch of I let all my Facebook friends know like what was going on. So like 10 people jumped on the video and were commenting like, "Hey, give the photographers credit. Daniel Grove Photography at this time." Or, "Why are you not crediting anybody? Why are you stealing photos?" It was great. They were just totally spamming him.
That's awesome.
And he didn't respond to any of them. So then I reported it.
Wow. Yeah, you sent like a little mob after him.
Yeah,
I did. Get him.
Grabbed their pitchforks and their torches and went after them.
Bandwich. Yeah. other than that little YouTube excitement, some other things that are going on in my neck of the woods. I was featured on the Side Hustle School podcast. This is a podcast that covers entrepreneurs and people that have a side hustle or a side business that is usually a very creative startup that they've done themselves and something that they're passionate about. And, that definitely applies to my photography. So they interviewed me and had an episode featuring or talking about me. That was last April. And now they wrote me back and they're doing kind of an update on some of their most popular episodes. Apparently mine is one of them. So that's really cool. So you might be seeing something else on Side Hustle School podcast about me and some other really cool upstarts. And I mean, that podcast is cool to listen to because you hear all these amazing ideas of people that are making like $40,000 to $100,000 a year sometimes on these really clever and interesting. And a lot of them are relatively simple upstarts. And entrepreneurialism is just going crazy these days. You got everyone in these multi-level marketing things and selling this, selling that, and memberships and junk. But a lot of them out there are actually doing it like genuinely on their own, and it's actually working. And this podcast covers those guys, and I love it.
That's cool.
Yeah. Also, I finished an audiobook a few days ago. I finished The Book of Strange New Things by Michel Faber. Last episode, I think I called him Mikel. I assumed it was a guy. I'm just so sexist.
Wow.
I didn't catch on that it was Michelle.
Tisk.
Mikel.
Disappoint.
Patriarchy. Patriarchy strikes again.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-oh, Angel's getting triggered over there.
Yes, very.
Michel Faber, wonderful author. I really enjoyed the book and how it was written. A lot of cool ideas. It wasn't terribly exciting, so I can't give it a really high rating because it didn't climax really. Honestly, the most exciting and intense scene of the whole book was basically the guys out in a farm farming, and the farm gets invaded by alien chickens.
Wow.
So
that sounds like something special there.
A little context, this is actually taking place on an alien planet. So the chickens are local creatures.
Oh, okay.
And they are just rushing through this area and eating up all the corn and ruining this guy's day.
Man, that's intense.
That's funny.
So, alien chicken invasion, eating corn. But don't let that sour the whole book for you. It's a pretty cool book. If you want to hear about it, listen to my previous episode about recent audiobook reads. So I finished that, and I also picked up the new Thrawn book. Yeah. It's an audiobook. It's the new canon version of Thrawn. So Thrawn comes from the early 90s. He's an admiral in the Empire. This is Star Wars, by the way. If I have to say that.
I wouldn't have.
And and so basically Thrawn is an admiral. He's super smart. He lives during, I think, after the Clone Wars, and outside of canon, he lives into after episode 6 as well. He kind of is there for a while in the Empire after the Empire crumbles. But the Thrawn, I think it's a trilogy, I'm not sure, but the Thrawn audiobook is basically new canon by Disney. Disney adopted the Thrawn character from non-canon and brought him into canon, which is really cool.
Oh, really? So they're not completely throwing away the extended universe like they said?
They haven't. It's very hopeful. And this is, as far as I know, one of the very first instances of that. And now it's happening a lot more, especially in Solo. If you want to know more about this, check out our Solo episode, a movie review. But basically, there's lots of things that were in Solo, thus actual canon, right? But those things originated from non-canon books. So that's very neat. Makes us longtime Star Wars fans very happy.
Who narrates the book?
That's the guy that we know and love, Mark Thompson. Yep. Who does such a good Thrawn voice. And it's really cool. He did the original Thrawn book, and now he's doing this one. And it's the same voice, and it's so perfect.
A hint of, if you want to know it, he does all the voices really well, but he makes Thrawn sound a lot like Benedict Cumberbatch.
Yeah,
that sounds amazing.
Very cool and collected, and just you just hear him say a simple sentence and you're already intimidated.
That's cool.
And it's perfect. It's perfect for the Thrawn character. So I started the Thrawn book maybe, I don't know, less than a year ago, and it expired, and I went on to other things, and now I'm getting it back and kind of picking it up I want to finish it. Because it's a really cool story. And this book is about, it starts with Thrawn basically coming out of nowhere and joining the Empire. Whereas the old books, the original Timothy Zahn trilogy about Thrawn, it's a mouthful. Timothy Zahn wrote the trilogy about Thrawn. Those books are about Thrawn when he's older and like Luke is, it's post episode 6.
Yeah.
But anyway, so listening to that. And then last thing, I got to plug this. I learned about an awesome book, and it's called How to Invent Everything.
Oh, that sounds like it could be a meaty subject.
Yeah, it's very, very vague. Now, let me ask you a question. Have you ever imagined yourself getting lost back in time? Like, say you're time traveling, something goes wrong, or someone sabotages your ship, or runs out of batteries, and you can't get back to the present. And now you're stuck in, say, 200 AD or 2000 BC. Mm-hmm. Like, what would you do?
Well,
you ever thought about that?
We're probably going to be stuck in the Stone Age because I don't know jack about how to make anything.
So you wouldn't be very helpful to that civilization.
Probably not. No.
Yeah, it's been a thought, and it's also been a dream. So it's kind of like, oh man, like I don't know what I would do.
So Ryan North is the author of this book, How to Invent Everything, and he has also contemplated this very problem and situation, apparently from his childhood. And he grew up and said, you know what, I'm going to write a book about this, and I'm going to write a book that's going to be a manual, a field guide for people lost back in time. And it's going to cover everything I can try to fit in there, from how to get sanitation up to speed, how to cure basic diseases and prevent people from dying from stupid stuff, how to get, how to farm, how to grow healthy food and what not to eat, and also things about engineering and technology. Really cool. So I learned about this recently, and I just totally geeked out because I thought about this a lot. Like, could I invent steam power, using woodwork and basic metallurgy? Could I have people help me make steam power? I don't know.
Yeah. No, that book sounds really interesting.
It is, yeah. And, lots of stupidity in human history concerning medicine or the lack thereof.
Right.
And this guy has a whole, section of the book devoted to that, like how to prevent dehydration, which according to him has killed more people in history than most diseases.
Really?
Things like scurvy, and just things that happen throughout history that have taken lots of lives. They didn't need to because they were really simple things, and people were trying to treat them with leeches and stupid crap, but they didn't know they just needed to drink more water, and they needed to eat an orange for vitamin C. So yeah, if this conversation has got your brain gears going, you definitely check out How to Invent Everything. I want this book.
Yeah. Man, I can't even imagine how much research it took just to even write that book.
Yeah, and the fun thing about this book is that it's a comedy fictional premise, because the whole book is aimed towards your rented time machine broke down. Here's what you need to know.
That's funny.
So it's funny and it's fictional, but the information is totally factual and scientific inside of it.
That's awesome. Given how it can be so probably a huge information dump, I'm glad that they decided to take a slightly humorous approach to make it easier to absorb, I guess.
Totally. This sounds like a great survival guide, and just at the same time an education on various scientific fields. I love it.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
Well, Nate, what's going on with you lately?
Well, I went to a 2-day retreat out in the middle of nowhere. Had no cell service, which was awesome and scary at the same time. But
I just had an anxiety attack.
I know.
Yeah.
So all the millennials out there, they're like, "Oh no, what are you talking about?"
We think the serial killers coming after you guys.
Yeah, right.
And all the slasher movies.
And what's funny is I'm not really into horror movies at all, but I do know kind of the classics of Jason and Freddy. And there were a couple times it was rainy and misty and foggy, and I'm no one knows I'm out here. And I mean, besides the 60 other people out here, but it's a good way to
they could all die too.
Exactly. But there's some common areas where they had a little bit of Wi-Fi and a landline for emergencies. And of course they had radar and all that fun stuff that I was asking one of the counselors about. And they're like, yeah, we have a whole section of radar and communication. And the guy on the property across the water has a helicopter for just in case emergencies. And I was like, oh, nice. So,
wow.
I was like, well, then I guess you've got all your bases covered. But it was kind of fun. Unfortunately, when I was there, it rained the entire time. Rain, mist, fog the whole time. So it was kind of funny. They were like, okay, so it's a camp. It's like campgrounds. You stay in log cabins and all that fun stuff. And they were basically saying, okay, you can do activities, but if you see lightning and within 10 miles, you might want to get shelter. So they allowed us to do activities, and we played ultimate frisbee and football, basketball, and stuff like that. And they had the I think in Texas, I wouldn't say in America, they have one of the longest zip lines. And so a lot of people went down zip lines and they're like, that was awesome.
Whoa.
But besides
that's
getting
fun.
pelted in the face by raindrops, that burned. But,
Ew.
I was like, well,
I had to have my eyes closed the whole time.
yeah. And so that was a lot of fun. Yeah, I think that's how I'm not feeling too hot. It was kind of interesting on the way in and way out. They have about an 8 to 10 mile dirt road, and imagine dirt, water don't mix well and make mud.
Oh.
So I thought we were going to get flooded in for sure because the night before it just like
No.
downpoured. So I was like, yeah, we're stuck. But I told everybody there, I was like, no, I have to be back for this next episode. So we have to get out. So call the helicopter. I'm struck. So it was a lot of fun.
He's like, you guys seem fine. You're like, no, I just want a helicopter ride.
It's dry. No, I need the helicopter.
Just trust me. Can't move.
Yeah. That was a lot of fun. A lot of recalibrating. People think of the word retreat as a vacation, and honestly, retreating is to step back and refocus, recalibrate. So it was a lot of fun. Outside of the retreat, nothing new to anybody. New on this side, yes. I got an ND filter for one of my primary lenses that I use pretty much all the time for everything, and I'm enjoying the spit out of it because I like filming stuff outside, but I've always hated how bright the sun is.
That darn sun lighting up the earth.
Dang star.
And
stop being so starry.
Yeah. Stop being so bright. God. Anyways, and which leads to a lot of nighttime filming and stuff. But it's kind of cool. Nothing out of the norm for anybody. And for me, I've used them before. Yeah, it's pretty fun having a variable ND filter. So yeah. So besides the retreat and getting some new simple gear stuff, that's pretty much what's been going on with me.
Sweet.
Nice.
Cool. All right, well, let's get on to the meat of this episode. Lots of news coming out that's been released recently concerning some of our favorite movies concerning some movies that we're looking forward to, as well as TV shows and stuff like that. So I'll get it started with probably the biggest thing that came out is Captain Marvel.
Woo.
I'm super excited.
Yeah.
I'm a fan and I'm not a fan because when she's introduced, that means Iron Man probably has to say goodbye, or Captain America, and I'm really not looking forward to that.
Could be. I didn't think about that. Yeah, she might be the new leader of the Avengers. We'll see. Apparently, she's like not in this movie, likely, because it's more of an origin story. But in the big picture of things, Captain Marvel is very, very, very powerful.
Yeah.
Which is exciting. So
yeah.
Not only is this the first female-led Marvel movie, which only took 19 freaking movies.
Wow, it really is, isn't it?
Sexist Marvel. Is it 19 or 20? I don't even remember.
It's enough to say that
it's stupid.
Wow.
It's stupid is what it is. But also, this is the first Marvel movie to have a female film music composer.
Hey.
So that's exciting.
Looking forward to that one.
Also about time, Marvel. Hashtag triggered.
Oh my gosh.
So no, this is going to be super exciting. Brie Larson, of course, is playing Captain Marvel. And she was from Kong Island. She was the blonde female character in that movie. I didn't even know that.
Huh.
And I thought she was great in that movie. She was really good. So I'm looking forward to seeing more of her. I don't think I've ever seen her in anything else, but maybe I'm just not. I'm awful with actors and actresses.
I did the exact same thing. I'm like, oh man, this movie's great.
Can't trust myself.
And then they're like, yeah, she's in that one movie or TV show. I'm like, wait, what? I go back and I'm like, oh, way.
And also, Brie Larson is co-directing this her movie.
What, really? I didn't know that.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
That's pretty sweet.
Huh.
Mm-hmm. So lots of lady power going on.
Woohoo.
So the villain in this movie looks to be, in general, the Skrull, which is an alien race that is mean. They're just all around bad guys.
Oh my god.
You're just mean.
You meanies. We're going to defeat you. The Skrull aliens can shapeshift. And in the 70s, there was a really big run in the Marvel comics where I think it was called the Invisible Wars. And basically, the Skrull had shapeshifted into humans and infiltrated government and society on Earth, but also they even infiltrated the Avengers themselves. So those people who knew better, they knew about the Skrull shapeshifting invasion. They didn't know who they could trust because literally, like the Hulk or Captain America, they could be the Skrull shapeshifting as that hero, and I guess they take on the powers and memories too, and they can basically replace people.
That's awesome and scary.
Pretty cool. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So that happened. I don't know if that might be a future, maybe Captain Marvel 2 or 3 movie. We'll see in the future. But I do think that this is going to be a pivotal transition movie, or at least Captain Marvel will be a transitionary character because it's moving us on to the next phase of the Marvel movies, I think. Mm-hmm. And that's going to be the Kree and Skrull War. So again, back in the comic universe, the Kree is, I guess they're more of a better alien race, whereas the Skrull is kind of painted as the bad guys. But yeah, they've been in war with each other for like thousands of years, and they've spanned the galaxy, and they're super advanced and all over the place. And we don't even know about them yet. So Captain Marvel is going to be like our intro to that corner of the Marvel galaxy, which is really exciting. And cool. They're in this movie. You can see them in the trailer. I love origin stories, so I'm excited about this.
Yeah.
My first thought when they announced that it was taking place in, I think, 1992 was I instantly thought of Black Panther, which some of that takes place in 1991, where they've got vibranium, and there's, the guy stealing vibranium from Wakanda and bringing it to America. I'm thinking like, what if there's like a little Easter egg in Captain Marvel that hints at that stuff happening in the background? That would be super cool. Mm-hmm. It might be a little cramped, but you never know.
Yeah, who knows?
But they're doing some CGI facelifting. Samuel L. Jackson lost a few years.
I'm really hoping that this turns out good and doesn't look too fake. Because I know we know it can work okay when we've seen them de-age Robert Downey Jr. in Civil War.
Yeah, that looked good.
But again, that was only for a very short scene and not throughout a whole movie. So hopefully they can keep it on point.
Or Star-Lord's dad, I forgot his name right now, the actor. They made him like
Russell.
really young. Like, whoa.
That was pretty impressive.
I'm looking forward to not watching any more of them because I kind of want to be surprised going in because like you were saying, this is a pivotal moment that we're thinking we're going to transition for Marvel. So honestly, the less I know, the better off I want. But, as soon as I go watch a movie, they're going to show me the next trailer. So it's only going to last. It's a short victory, but I'd like not to know anymore because it's always fun being surprised when you go watch it for the first time.
Mm-hmm. I've come across people like that don't watch anything except for the very first trailer. They don't watch any further trailers and they just go see the movie. And I've never been able to do that.
You can't resist.
And now it's because I don't want to, but I'm on the internet too much.
Yeah.
Stuff autoplays and I don't know. It's not my fault.
Or you're sitting in a movie theater.
Yeah.
Or that, yeah.
It's harder when you're in the theater. You can't just scroll past it.
That's when you put your hands
unless
over
you want to walk out. Go,
well,
la 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 la
la la la. Can you be quiet? I don't want to know.
Well, you youngins without kids, apparently I'll go to the movie theater more. I don't, so that's not a problem for me. I go to the movie theater like twice a year. So
same here, though. Honestly, I'm just old at heart or something.
Back in my day.
All right. So next up in our nerdy news today is Star Wars has announced some of its casting for Episode 9, which is super exciting.
Yay.
Carrie Fisher will be in Episode 9, but only because they filmed her during Episode 7. And from what I read, they're using scenes that were not seen, not ever used or shown anywhere during Episode 7 filming. They're going to use those in Episode 9 somehow, which is really strange.
They're able to piece it into the story of Episode 9 seamlessly.
Yeah, I'm like, what was that dialogue and story happening in Episode 7 that you can make this work in 9?
Yeah,
I know.
That sounds.
Are they going to CGI her mouth?
That's
and
what I was about
too?
to say. Yeah, maybe.
Like, what if they just she barely moved her mouth anyway in Episode 7? They could probably get away with that.
Oh my gosh!
I'm not trying to be mean. I'm just saying. That was like the first thing I noticed when the movie finished. I was like, did she move her mouth?
Oh, no.
I'm sorry. I'm probably having all the Star Wars fans hate me now.
Yeah.
But.
No, it's legit.
Dare you?
I remember like right after the movie, that was one of the things you posted on Facebook. You're like, it's so good, but Carrie Fisher didn't move her mouth. So,
Oh my gosh.
And I was like, that's
sorry.
classic Daniel.
Yeah.
Oh gosh.
I feel bad now. Yeah, so she's going to be featured in Episode 9, which is very special. Also, Matt Smith, Doctor Who. Which number Doctor is he?
He's the 11th one.
Yeah, so the 11th Doctor, Matt Smith, will be in Star Wars 9.
That's interesting.
I'm hoping he's going to be Snoke's long forgotten son.
Oh my gosh.
A boy can dream.
Oh man, that's That's an interesting dream you got there.
Well, we don't know what who's gonna be playing, but he's there. We'll be seeing him, which will be great.
It's kind of interesting to see him in another big sci-fi franchise after Doctor Who.
It's just kind of wrong.
He
had
a cameo in the newest Terminator. He was Skynet, I think is what it's called.
Oh my gosh, really?
Yeah.
He was a face of Skynet? Weird. That's funny. Also, Dominic Monaghan, who played Charlie in Lost.
Yay!
I love him.
This makes me happy. I haven't seen him in anything in a while.
I know. I love that guy. He's one of my favorite characters. Mm-hmm. So he's going to be there. Again, we don't know who or what he's going to be.
Somebody was talking about him, and he says, they think he's looking for the long run to stay in Lucasfilms, and he's like, just give me a lightsaber, and I'll do whatever you want me to do.
He's in it for the long con. He just wants his own Star Wars movie. Honestly, I just call him Charlie. I didn't even know his name until I researched for this episode, because ever since watching Lost, Charlie. He is Charlie.
He's Mary from Lord of the Rings in my heart. Forever.
Oh yeah, you're right. Another big name is Kerry Russell, who played Elizabeth in The Americans. That was a really cool TV show, by the way. But she's going to be in Star Wars. We don't know who or what. Maybe Rey's mother. Ooh. Oh my gosh. What if her and Charlie played Rey's parents?
Really?
That'd be a trip.
That'd be unexpected.
But we all know, if you've read Lost Stars, you know who Rey's parents are. So,
herself.
Just going to leave that there. I mentioned on the podcast before, if you haven't read the book, shame on you. Go read it, and you will be enlightened, because you will know the truth. And the truth will set you free. All right, moving on.
I have to question you about this later.
I'll just throw the book in your face and say, read it.
Okay.
The book.
Last announcement concerning Star Wars. This is not concerning Episode 9, but I believe it is more pertaining to Rebels, the animated TV show.
Yeah.
But it is Darth Momin is a brand new Sith Lord that has been announced.
Momin. There's
only a handful of canon Sith Lords. There's Darth Sidious, Darth Vader, Darth Maul, Darth Tyrannus. There's a few others, but there's really not a whole lot of them.
Darth Plagueis. I don't know.
Yep. Yeah. Darth Plagueis was Darth Sidious's master, who has a book, which is pretty cool. Yeah. So whenever a new Sith Lord's announced, it's kind of a big deal. So Darth Momin is the newly announced Sith Lord, and I believe he was kind of in some of the EU stuff very vaguely. But his inclusion into Star Wars canon happened recently with the Darth Vader comic book. And he died sometime before 19 years before the destruction of the first Death Star. So he, died before that time. But his helmet was kept in Darth Sidious's private vault of old ancient stuff. He likes to collect, antiques. He's just a nice old guy, really. Sidious is just misunderstood. He just likes to collect antiques.
Okay.
Could that be so bad? So anyway, he's collected the head of Darth Momin, or rather the helmet. And it's just there, and it has evil dark Sith powers connected to it still, because that's how the Sith work. And it can possess people and control them and tell them things. Darth Momin is, he's also a really nice, misunderstood old guy. He just likes to make sculptures and design architecture.
Oh, that sounds nice.
I'm actually not kidding. It's really his hobby.
Oh.
He's
an architect. So bad.
Yeah. What could be wrong? So he designed and made art and stuff, which is actually a cool little twist. You don't see that much in the bad guys.
Yeah.
And he designed and inspired Darth Vader to make Darth Vader's fortress on Mustafar, which you see in Rogue One. So that's Darth Vader's fortress on planet Mustafar. And apparently this is canon now, Darth Vader got the instructions to build that building by somehow communicating with, I guess, the Force spirit of Darth Momin through his helmet. So, interesting.
Yeah.
So there's that.
Alrighty.
So that's it for our Star Wars news. What else do we got?
So on the Netflix side of things, apparently they're planning a live action series of Avatar: The Last Airbender.
Wow.
And I don't know how to feel about this, because I really, really enjoyed the cartoon back when it came on, and I wasn't able to finish it, but what I have seen of it, I did enjoy a lot. And I think most of us are aware of the awful live action movie that M. Night Shyamalan made back in 2010.
the movie that shall never be named.
Yeah.
Wait, what movie? I'm just joking.
It's bad.
Honestly, I haven't seen the movie myself, but I've seen enough like clips to where I'm like, what did they do to the characters? Didn't they pronounce the characters' names wrong? Daniel, have you seen this?
Oh yeah, I think they did. Yeah, they're a big stink about that.
That is, how do you mess that up? Is what I'm wondering. But oh my gosh. Anyways, so I'm really hoping that the Netflix series does not do what M. Night Shyamalan did.
M. Night Shyamalan is not invited.
Yeah, like seriously, no. But there is one glimmer of hope that it might be decent and that they have the original creators from the cartoon working on the show. Michael DiMartino and Brian Konietzko. I'm butchering the name, I'm sorry. But people should know who I'm talking about if they love the show. So, and they also promise not to basically whitewash the characters like they did in the movie. They're going to be Asian, so that's nice. I think development starts next year for the series, so I don't know if we'll be getting it next year or the year after, but yeah, I'm keeping my eyes on that.
I can't wait to hear more details about like which part of the timeline or which story they're doing. Like, are they, redoing it? Or
I would assume they're going to redo the whole cartoon. Just basically reboot it.
That would be interesting because, they've got to make changes. And then the question is, what changes are they going to make?
Yeah.
All of them.
No.
Aang will be a girl.
Oh my gosh. You mean Aang?
Aang.
You just pulled an M. Night Shyamalan. Get out.
Yeah. I've been incepted by his awful excuse for a movie.
How dare you?
So the next topic I'm going to talk about is going to make everybody want to sell all their camera equipment. I'm just joking. The Red Hydrogen 1 phone. Now, this is a $1,600 phone. Whoa. I don't know about you, but I thought my phone was expensive. And yeah. And, but that's crazy. Like the iPhone X is $1,000. But no, this is $600 more.
Must be better. Have to get it.
Yeah.
For that much money, it better be better.
Yeah, really.
And I've never seen one in person. I've only ever seen everything on like digital content. But I remember they did the release last year for some prototypes for a lot of the big YouTubers to kind of get some buzz. Now this is a camera company releasing a phone, and I think they're filling it because the demand is so high, and normal phone companies can pump the phones out, and they can do technology, but I think they're filling the demand, and so this year they are going to be releasing it soon. Now Red has awesome cameras. Now it's way too much money for a camera, but they're awesome cameras like Guardians of the Galaxy, The Martian, Transformers were all shot on Red.
Whoa, really?
On the cell phone, though, it's pretty clinky and clunky. It's not going to be your nice, slim, traditional Android. It looks like a monitor, honestly, like what you put on top of a gimbal. And so I'm quite interested in it because I know Red is such a good company and they have some pretty high quality glass and sensors in their equipment. But taking it down to a mobile size,
something I find interesting about it is that it's kind of a smart move in the sense because if you're buying Red brand cameras, like you've got money, like not that you're like rich, but you have money at your fingertips to spend on nice stuff. Yeah. And honestly, if someone makes a product that is decent quality, no matter what it is, whether it's a piece of clothing or a decoration, if it costs a lot, but you're selling it to the right audience that has that money, it's going to get bought. Yeah. So it's kind of cool. Like any Joe Schmo company that just started up with no client base, if they tried to do this, they would fall flat on their face. But Red has pretty well off, companies and clients behind them. Yeah. So there's definitely people within this fan base that's going to buy this thing.
Oh, for sure.
And the big draw to it is the 3D camera system it has and also the holographic display that it has. Yeah. So basically on the back and the front, there's two camera lenses. They're spaced apart. And that gives you a true, relative to this technology, a true 3D image capture.
But what's crazy is I was reading a little bit on that 3D double capture camera. If it captures it internally, I wasn't understanding the social media platforms we have now, Instagram, Facebook, Snapchat, and so on. How are we going to see, are we like a normal user, like Daniel, you have the newest Pixel. I have, a couple generations back, Samsung. And I'm like, are we going to be able to see the effect of 3D recording on just normal platforms? And that was one thing
Are you talking about the user interface of, like, say, Facebook, or looking at 3D images and videos on Facebook?
Well, like if somebody takes the red and captures a clip, takes a photo, posts it to like Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, Twitter, are we going to see what they see in 3D?
That I don't know. Now, that won't be possible until Facebook adopts their formatting and embedding and stuff and makes it possible to even post it at all. It's tough when someone tries to reinvent the wheel, in the sense that this is a brand new image format and technology. This isn't just a higher resolution video file that we could read if you had enough processing power or bandwidth. This is like a totally new system. So they're probably going to have their own website for sharing and viewing and you know, enjoying what other people capture, which will be easy, and the Red can take care of that on their own. But getting into the Facebook app and getting it into Facebook implementation, that's probably going to take some time if it happens at all.
I know that when the 360 camera came out, that was when a lot of people was like, well, true. 360, you know, originally was not on all these social medias, and like what you were saying, they had their own area where you could view it. And then over time they adapted it. So I know adapting is possible, but it's just like how long? Because this is all totally like 3D and 360. I'm kind of different. So
the one thing that I am most intrigued by is this holographic display. I cannot find any information as to how this thing actually works. I can only find people saying that it is the most coolest thing they've ever looked at, including J.J. Abrams. Like, blew his mind. So I don't know if this is reading where your eye is looking relative to the screen angle, and it's changing 3D graphics on the screen, which would be a 2D screen, but it's faking 3D by moving based on where you're looking at. That's something I am surprised I have not seen anywhere on mobile stuff, which is ridiculous. It's very simple. I don't know if it's that, or if there's some kind of multi-layering to the screen. I don't know how this thing works, and I need to know. Like, I'm just that guy. I just need to know how things work, and then I'm happy. Then I can leave it alone or buy it.
So besides the holographic display and the 3D front and back camera, they're saying internally there's 128 gig, and I'm like, what? That's a lot of gig.
That's awesome.
And that's not
it's
even
going to need that.
That's not even including like the micro SD slot that you have. And I was like, wow, this thing's going to have a lot of memory for something that fits in your pocket.
Well, it's going to have to. I don't know how big these holographic images are going to be, or videos. Ugh. I mean, it's at least twice the normal, because it's two cameras worth.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of extra data being gathered, like depth and, you know, 3D graphic, I don't know, some kind of rendering system they're doing to make it three-dimensional. I'm still trying to understand like how it's happening. Someone said that they did a video chat in 3D.
Wow.
And what it was doing was creating a 3D mesh, which is a 3D object that can be rendered and calculated and shown on a phone device. But on this 3D mesh of the person's body and head moving and talking in real time was the what was captured by the actual cameras, which is the image. So the pixels of the image of the person was mapped onto the mesh. So that's how it was made into 3D. And I that's one person said that, but then I'm thinking that's not really sustainable to all the applications of what 3D viewing is. So I don't know. As it gets more popular and more reviews, I'm sure things will be sorted out. And
I hope maybe not to own one, but I hope to be able to play with one.
Yeah, that's all I want.
Yeah. Hey, Nate, you mentioned Guardians of the Galaxy earlier, right? Well, I have some news about Guardians of the Galaxy 3, at least for people who have been living under a rock and haven't heard the news. James Gunn.
What's the news? Is there a release date?
Yeah, well, no. And who knows when there will be one because of the shenanigans James Gunn got up to 10 years ago.
And you know what's sad, guys, is like nobody else can experience the shame like me because I share the same last name as this dude. And I'm like, come on.
I feel bad
why? Can you write him?
Yeah, we can't repeat any of the things he said 10 years ago. I mean, this whole thing is just sad. I don't know. On one hand, you read the tweets and you're like, man, any normal person would not write this stuff. If he was definitely sick in the head when he wrote these things. I know, like, even before the controversy came out, he did apparently one time apologize for some of the stuff he did say. And I mean, nowadays his excuse was he was just trying to get his name out there by saying shocking things and all that, because he was basically a nobody back then. He didn't work on anything really big. So that's just how he drew attention to himself. But even then, I mean...
Ironic that those posts have now brought him back to being a nobody.
Kind of.
Circle of life.
But what I can't really understand is when Disney hired him on to direct Guardians of the Galaxy, didn't they go through his past and find any of this stuff?
That's my biggest beef. Like, hold on, you guys should have done this before you hired him. You should have known everything about him.
Yeah.
And it's sad that they let him do 2 movies and then he got heated and they're like, bye. This kind of shimmied him away, which is fine by me with what his past presented. And I'm not saying they should rehire him. It just almost makes it sound like it was like a quick, like, go, get out of here.
Yeah.
And I was just like, man, what a stink. That puts a stink on Guardians of the Galaxy 3 if we even get that now.
It really does, because as of now, it's postponed indefinitely. So, I mean, who knows if it'll even happen for sure. At least we know. I feel like, based on the way Dave Bautista's been tweeting after all this, like, he's really mad at Disney for letting all this go down, and he's basically threatened to not be a part of the next movie.
Yeah, I know.
I feel like he's not returning, probably.
Well, yeah, it's sad to see this falling out and, shaking of something that we love. But when I heard that there was going to be no Guardians of the Galaxy 3, I was instantly like thinking, what about Adam Warlock?
Yeah.
Because if you guys remember the ending of Guardians of the Galaxy 2, a little bit of spoilers, but not really, is the end credit scene reveals that those golden people, I forgot their names, they are so angry about what was done to them by the Guardians of the Galaxy that they make this too. Like massive. What's that?
It was a little thing. They just stole the battery.
The batteries. Yeah. They're so like butthurt about their little batteries being stolen that they make this like cosmic powerful creature. I believe it's Adam Warlock that he hasn't like awoken yet, but he's like there. I don't know. It's kind of
like in a cocoon.
Yeah.
Kind of.
He's nice and cozy,
He's growing big and strong.
So that I'm pretty sure that's Adam Warlock. And now it's like, wait, because I don't feel like there's room for him to come in and save the day with the whole Thanos thing, because that's Captain Marvel's situation now.
I would be very surprised.
Like, if Adam Warlock is now forced to come into the next Infinity War, that'll be like so crowded.
I don't think they can. I feel like they've already done most of the shooting for that movie.
So I don't know. It'd be weird to have a loose end because of this whole James Gunn thing, but we'll see. If nothing happens, I'll say I told you so.
Yeah, unless they just plan on having him come in some other franchise.
Give it to the hungry director like Rian Johnson.
Yeah, there's money. Honestly, in the big picture thing, there's a lot of money to be made with Guardians of the Galaxy. It's not done. Someone's going to jump in and Disney's going to be like, yeah, we're cool with you. Do it. Make us more money.
Yeah, there'd have to be like a complete riot with the actors or something in order for this movie to not be made. But from what it sounds like, it's just Dave Bautista who's starting to quit so far.
That's sad. I like him.
I know. He's my favorite.
I mean, he's nothing official. He's just, I guess it's just the heat of the moment. He's not too pleased. So,
talking about upcoming movies, although this one is actually going to happen, a live-action Mulan remake, which I'm totally stoked about. Because other than Belle, Mulan is my favorite princess.
Yeah, I really enjoy Mulan. But something tells me they're not going to sing Make a Man Out of You, and that's going to make me sad.
Sure, they better. I'm not watching it. Initially, there wasn't going to be any music, and they actually, that was like in writing that they weren't going to do music, but that changed recently, and they did say that there will be music, and I believe it is confirmed that there will be some of the original music from the original animated movie. Yeah.
I was thinking maybe they would think it'd be too cheesy to have in a live-action movie.
Yeah, it's interesting how they're going to do that. Keep it serious. Well, it's just going to be like Beauty and the Beast, I guess.
Yeah.
Where it's hyper realistic, but there's also music.
Yeah. I mean, with Beauty and the Beast, it was like more of a fantasy sort of movie, more whimsical, I guess. Whereas Mulan's a serious, slightly more serious war movie.
Yeah, it's true.
It's kind of might feel a little jarring to have people start singing while they're marching the war.
Killing people, chopping bodies apart. Well, it's Disney. They can do anything, and they'll probably do it really well. So,
I'm not watching it if Eddie Murphy's not in there doing Mushu.
Oh my gosh, I freaking love Mushu.
Mushu's great.
So good. There will be a Mushu in the movie, which is weird. I mean, they're gonna have to do CGI, of course, but as far as the casting announcements, Mulan will be played by Liu Yifei. And the Commander Tung character, which is slightly changed in the story, which we'll get to in a minute, is played by Donnie Yen. I love that guy.
He's the blind guy in Rogue One.
Yep, and also the dude from Into the Badlands.
Yeah.
Amazing martial artist. Just awesome.
That's cool.
And speaking of amazing martial artists, we got Jet Li, another favorite of mine, and he's going to be play the Emperor, which is like, he's going to be kicking butt.
Woohoo.
That'd be interesting because in the cartoon he did not kick butt, so we're gonna have to do some rewrites there.
I know who they can cast from Mushu, Jackie Chan.
Oh my gosh, that'd be funny. Like you can't hire Jet Li into an Oriental movie that is action and martial arts based and not have him jumping around like a ninja kicking people's butts.
Yeah.
It's just very exciting, and that's coming out in 2020, which is sad.
So far away. Why? I hate when they do that. I hate when they're like, "Are you excited about the next movie?" And you're like, "Yeah," and you're like, "Are you ready for it?" Yeah. Okay, it comes out in 5 years. You're like,
like, why? Better to have not known.
Yeah, just tell me
Just
do
live
what
under a
Solo
rock
did.
for a little while. Find out right before the movie comes out.
Just do what the movie Solo did, where they kind of told you a little bit, and then you didn't hear anything about it until months before it came out. So I like that.
That stressed me out, though. I thought it was going to fall through and not happen. That's so weird.
Yeah.
I was like, is this even Disney? Is this even Star Wars? What is happening?
Right.
The marketing agency is gone. Well, speaking of movies coming up soon, there's a movie coming out called I'm just going to call it 2.0.
Yeah, I'm confused.
I'm waiting for someone to call it just 2 and it sound like they're dumb. But 2.0 is an Indian made movie that is so extra. I mean, have you guys seen the trailers for this?
No, I haven't even heard of it.
I don't want to.
Oh man, you guys are in for a treat. You know how Bollywood movies have the dance scenes, and there's even a subset of Indian made movies that are purposefully very extra and cheesy and out there, right? Okay. Have you seen any of those?
I haven't seen it.
It's laughably bad.
Okay.
Well, 2.0 is taking that into the sci-fi realm.
Oh, boy.
And just wow. It's gonna blow your mind. Watch that trailer and try not to laugh. It's Elvis meets Terminator.
What?
But Bollywood.
What?
So that's coming out, and that's going to be interesting how that's going to be received because, I mean, we can't look at this and say, yes, this is a serious sci-fi movie, but at the same time, they just go all out with the visual effects and what's happening. It's just crazy.
Oh, man.
So, yeah, there's that 2.0.
Okay.
It would be a fun movie review episode.
It would be. I'm not gonna lie. I'll probably watch it
I'll
watch it for the podcast purposes, but not for personal reasons.
Other movies coming out soon. Just briefly, I'm only mentioning this because Nicolas Cage is in it, and we all know that all of us love Nicolas Cage, right?
Yeah.
Well, I do. It's called Mandy. It's totally uninteresting name for this movie.
Oh, yeah.
But it's a horror movie, and it involves cults and him fighting monsters.
Oh, that's.
So I'm not going to watch it.
I saw the trailer for that one. Actually, it looks pretty brutal.
I didn't see the trailer.
Yeah, I don't think it's my kind of movie, but I'm aware of its existence. I think it already came out. Actually.
The second I saw a horror movie, I was like, oh man, I wanted to see a Nicolas Cage movie. I just don't do horror movies.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't really.
Not worth my time. I don't like the entertainment of being scared.
Yeah. I mean, I like thrillers, but I wouldn't watch anything that's gory, bloody, and
right. And this does seem like that.
No, thank you.
So there's that with Nicolas Cage. Haven't seen him in a while. Honestly, I don't remember what he was in last.
Mm-hmm.
And then lastly is a movie. This is a mouthful. The House with a Clock in Its Walls.
All right.
We need to abbreviate that. THWACIIW. Whatever that abbreviation is. But this is kind of a magical, whimsical movie where some warlocks put some kind of curse in their house and they made this clock inside the house hidden somewhere. That's basically, I don't know if it's counting down to the end of the world or if it's stopped, the world will end. Something wild like that.
Okay.
And this boy who is living in the house is brought into this bigger world of magic and witches and warlocks and stuff like that. So.
Yeah.
There's that, and it's based on a book. Surprise, surprise. I feel like there's so many books that are getting turned into movies lately.
Most likely. I feel like that's been the case throughout history, though, for the most part.
Yeah.
Jack Black.
Yeah, he's in that movie.
And then the girl that we thought was, I think, Death in the newest
Ragnarok.
Yeah, she's one of the main actors, too.
Yeah. Honestly, I pretty much watch anything with Jack Black in it.
Really?
I just love him. He's so funny.
He can be pretty funny.
Well, that's it. That's it for my movies. You guys got anything else?
Yeah, I got a little interesting piece of news from the video game side of things. So you know how Nintendo came out with the NES Classic and the SNES Classic in the last couple of years?
Yeah.
Well, now Sony is tossing their hat into the same sort of ring, and they're coming out with the PlayStation Classic.
Sweet.
Yep, it's going to be a little mini original PlayStation, and it's supposed to come with 20 games from that era. And so far, the only 4 that I've seen announced for it so far is Final Fantasy VII, of course, Wild Arms, Jumping Flash, and Ridge Racer Type 4.
I have only heard of Final Fantasy VII.
I've heard of Wild Arms. It's like another Japanese role-playing game, but the others, I'm not as familiar with. Oh, yeah, and I think Tekken 3, actually. I think I saw somewhere.
Oh, yeah. That's got to be on there. Do these, like the SNES Classic, can you download additional games? Can you purchase more?
No.
Or is it just stuck?
It's all just a set amount of games preloaded.
I feel like they are really losing out on a lot of money that would be easy to make.
Maybe.
Because like what I envision would be it could connect to Wi-Fi and you could just like get onto a store system and buy additional classic games.
Yeah, but here's the
Wouldn't
thing:
that be
is
awesome?
that the PlayStation Network already kind of has a lot of old classic games on there as well.
True.
Like I believe Final Fantasy VII is already on PSN along with some of the older Final Fantasy titles as well. So that's probably why they don't allow that feature, because you can already sort of do.
I didn't think about that. Yeah, PlayStation's got that whole store thing going on for years. Mm-hmm. I don't know about Nintendo. I haven't played video games in a long time.
They have a virtual console that allows you to play NES and SNES stuff.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
Well, then I guess they would be competing with themselves, so they didn't do that.
Yeah. But I'm wondering what are some of the other games that they're gonna announce for the classic. I feel like maybe the other Final Fantasies, like 8 and 9, maybe Tactics, maybe Resident Evil or Spyro, Crash Bandicoot.
Oh, that was a good
probably
one.
Those. If those are not on there, that's a darn shame. That would make no sense.
Armored Core, that was a good game. I don't know how well it sold. They're probably not going to have my favorite video game for PlayStation 1, which is Star Ocean 2, best RPG ever made.
I've heard good things about that. Like, a lot of people consider it
So
a classic
good.
for that era. Maybe it'll be on there.
I replayed it about a year or two ago with an emulator on my laptop, and it was about 45 hours of play, and it was like nostalgia overload. I loved it.
That's awesome.
Such a good story.
Mm-hmm. Anyway, Nate, you got anything?
Do I have anything? Of course, I always have something.
Oh, okay. Do share.
Well, I talk about this a lot. I love space. I love space stuff, space movies, and they're coming out with a movie called First Man, and it's based off of a autobiography of Neil Armstrong. And so, looking forward to this movie very much. I think it comes out in October sometime. The same director, Damien
Chazelle?
Chazelle?
No, I'm just being ridiculous. It's probably Chazelle.
It's directed by the same people that made La La Land, Damien Chazelle, and star Ryan Gosling this time. And I don't know if he did La La Land, but Universal Pictures is doing it. And so basically, it's just a story about NASA's mission on the man on the moon, focused on Neil Armstrong. And in the book, it goes into way more detail, I'm sure, because most books do. But it kind of takes place in the 1961, 1969 era. So I'm really, really looking forward to this movie, and it comes out here shortly. So I honestly, even if it's by myself, we all should do a movie review, and because I'm really excited about this.
I've been so confused and back and forth about this First Man thing. At first, I thought it was a TV show about landing on the moon, and then I thought it was a TV show about landing on Mars, and now I've just learned it's a movie.
I was really confused too, because I kept seeing advertisements on Hulu for it. I'm like, oh, is this a new Hulu series? And then I found out it's not. And I'm like, what?
No. I literally just realized you said Universal Pictures. This is a movie. Duh. I didn't know.
Yeah. But I remember seeing the trailer in the movie theater, and I was like super stoked and excited. And I'm like, yes, we're finally going to see the Neil Armstrong movie. I'm sure it's not an original idea. It comes from a book, but probably the first on the big screen. So a lot of good actors too. So I'm really looking forward to it.
I mean, hey, Ryan Gosling, yum, right? Am I right or am I right?
Whatever you're into.
I'm right.
All right. Well, moving on from that, I only have one more bit of news to mention myself. And there is a rumor going around that some of the secondary Marvel characters might be getting their own TV shows.
Nice.
And by secondary...
The B team?
Yeah. And so far, they've only mentioned 2 names that might be getting their own shows, and that's Loki and Scarlet Witch, and that's enough to make me interested.
I was super bummed when Loki died. Spoiler alert for all those who haven't seen Infinity War. I was super bummed.
Did. How dare you?
Jeez.
I know. I was sad too, because even though he causes a lot of crap in the Marvel movies, I mean, I still like
he does.
Loki. He's fun to watch. But here's the thing. It's not going to be on like an actual TV station or Netflix or Hulu or Amazon.
Uh-oh.
It's planned to be on Disney's own streaming service.
Whenever they launch mouse.
It. I know.
Of course it would be.
Exactly.
Not the mouse.
Yeah, I know. It's gotta be the mouse.
Well, hey, the Star Wars live action show is going to be on the Disney streaming service, so that alone is going to bring everyone over.
I know. Okay. I think from what I've heard, their streaming service is supposed to maybe launch late 2019, so long as nothing changes. So it will be a while before we see any extra Marvel series from them, but I'm definitely interested in it.
Yeah.
Apparently, they're going to be like little mini series, like maybe each character will get a little series 6 to 8 episodes long.
Weird.
So,
that's different.
I mean, I'm glad that each character's not getting like a full TV show with multiple seasons because I can't keep up with all these superhero shows as is.
True.
So I'm a little relieved to hear that.
Just with Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., it's a little much.
I haven't even started that. But apparently they're planning on getting the original actors to reprise their roles, which is...
That's good.
Which is a really good thing to hear. So Tom Hiddleston would be Loki and Elizabeth Olsen would be Scarlet Witch. So that's great to hear. And... I guess they're not going to have like any of the major Marvel superheroes be involved, like Captain America or Iron Man, since they already have their own movies. So it's nice to see the B team getting a little bit of spotlight, but it really sucks that you would have to pay for a subscription to Disney service in order to see it.
The mouse is trying to control your bank account.
Exactly. You can just wait until some of the series are out and pay for it for a month, binge watch, and then cancel it. So that might be. That's probably what I'll end up doing.
That's what I'm doing when the Star Wars series comes out. Yeah. Just like when the Star Trek show came out on, was it CBS's random streaming service? I didn't even know they had a streaming service.
Really? Oh my God.
People just joined it for a month, watched all of Star Trek Discovery, and then unsubscribed.
Honestly, that's the smartest way to do it. So I don't blame them.
A lot of good nuggets of news about shows and movies coming up that I can't wait to watch, and some of them will make their way onto our podcast, I'm sure.
Woo!
Well, thank you guys for joining us, especially you, Angela. It's great to hear your voice again and have you on the show.
Aw, thanks. It was glad to be on with you guys again. I've missed it.
Well, I think that's about it for this show. Thank you guys again for listening to the Visionary Variety Podcast. If you haven't already, be sure to subscribe to the podcast in any of your favorite podcast apps, such as iTunes, Google Podcasts, Pocket Casts, whatever you use to listen to us, so that you don't miss next week's episode. We do release one every Monday morning, covering all kinds of interesting subjects, such as movies, nerdy stuff, entertainment, sometimes even business and art and photography. So if any of that appeals to you, make sure to subscribe and share our podcast with the world so that other people can find us. And also, we would love to hear from you guys. You can email us at any time at tvvpodcast@gmail.com. Let us know what you thought about an episode, if you have any suggestions for future episodes. So send us an email, okay? Well, thank you guys for listening and have a great week. We'll see you next time. That sounded weird. Let me say that again. How has this week been for you guys?
Well, let's start off with the convention. That's fun.
All right, I guess.
Everyone loves a good convention, am I right?
Whoa, I thought, like, who the heck is that?
Patrick Warburton? What are you doing here?
So I was like, I thought somebody was walking in my house. I was like,
hey, we're on the podcast now?
I was like, you moved away from the microphone and did that. That scared me. I was like, oh, man.
Oh my God.
My mini personalities. Oh, there's a train.
Okay, sorry.